also our intro.
Yeah, this is basically an intro already. Like, this is good. Wait, you should need to try this.
Mine's bitter, but that's how I always get my coffee.
White chocolate mocha and pink hazard.
This is something I'd get if I was having a good day.
Ooh, that is bitter.
I like mine bitter.
I guess. I mean,
after the weekend we had, yeah, I would get something bitter.
I'm not excited to go back next week or this week.
Oh yeah, no, it's okay. I don't have school until later.
Oh, you're so lucky. Wait, when do you go back?
I start August 5th for summer school.
August 5th. Oh, okay, so you have like a week.
Yeah, basically.
Cool. Okay, so I guess welcome to our first podcast.
Yes.
First episode. We are at Lab Desserts and Coffee here at Convoy, just a bit north of National City. And welcome to the Unspoken Word, as we're gonna call ourselves.
Yes, sir.
So, a little context with what the Unspoken Word is.
We're actually a cult.
No,
No, I'm kidding. I don't know if we can put that in there.
Crazy.
Sorry, that was my bad.
I mean, low key, we stemmed out of a cult though.
Hey, gag me there.
Hey, but we saw the light though. We're quiet quitting.
Quiet quitting is insane.
Okay.
No, okay.
So,
basically,
yeah.
The
You
whole
wanna
purpose.
start it off, Ren?
Do you want?
I mean,
no, I'm Ren. He's Rico. There
Right.
you go. See,
Okay.
don't know how to introduce to someone because you're an incel.
What?
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Okay. We're getting off topic. Okay.
Okay.
So, why we decided to start a podcast is to basically highlight things that people outside when they talk about like societal standards, religious standards, it could be wherever.
Anything.
It could be literally anything. You're gonna have like those in between situations at church if you go to church, or you have those in between things when you go to college, right?
Yeah.
Or let's just say with your friends, or let's even talk about like some politics stuff, right?
Oh,
Everyone is so quick to bring it to a black and white decision. It's just like, oh, if you don't agree with this, you're fill in the blank.
Yeah.
But do you really want to just leave it like that?
You forget that there's people who experience different things, and we can come at the same crossroad and we'll react completely different ways. And I think that's what we kind of want to bring, is that there's an outside perspective always. The conversation never ends just because we cover two different things, because we're two different perspectives and two different people. There's always a different and outside way to really see everything and anything we experience.
Right. I feel like we feel like it's unfair for let's just I don't want to talk about politics, but let's jump
not
into
right now.
just a little bit.
Okay, for context.
Just for context. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just using this as an example.
Yeah.
We're so used to a two-party decision
Yeah.
when it comes to politics that I think we've been trained to see things from a two-decision thing. So it's
Yeah.
either this or this.
And the way when you look back on history, a lot of it is that it stemmed from the systems of society that we were kind of forced into, because that's like, oh, hey, this is the norm. You get with it or you get out. And I think slowly but surely, I want to say that, or want to hope that there's some people out there that are like us and we're like, wait, what the hell? Like, why is it like that? Why do we think like that? Why do we work like that? So we just want to bring that to a podcast.
Right.
People will need to hear the truth and only but the truth. Something around those something along those lines.
Yeah. Like, for us who are probably outliers who actually are able to peel apart different things out there and kind of think about it, not with a bias.
Yeah.
Initially, I think
And we're not perfect people.
Yeah.
These are just also our perspectives, but also I feel like this is the depth that some of us need. If you listen, it's like, yeah, we're not perfect people, and we're not. And it doesn't mean that we're always gonna be right just because we say this. Because again, the conversation will never end. There will always be a different perspective, but we need to understand that there needs to be some depth in these conversations. That it's never gonna be black and white, whether you like it or not.
Yep. That's why the unspoken word is here to basically give those who actually, that's so mean to say, to actually think, but it's more like
Bring back critical thinking
yeah,
skills.
exactly, bring back the critical thinking skills.
Yeah.
You know, we want to read, I guess, whoever ends up listening to this podcast, we want you all to remember that it's okay to have your different opinions as long as you are respectful to everyone around you,
Oh
and
yes.
you're not like enforcing and trying to, shove this down to like down everyone's throats. It's okay to have your different perspectives as long as you can live harmoniously with the people.
Yeah.
We all know that. We want to be able to, just live with our brother, with
Okay.
our brothers and sisters,
Yeah.
basically, right?
Yeah.
So that's all we want. And
Yeah.
while we're letting you guys do critical thinking, we're helping you guys think.
This is the time. This is the podcast where you're like, I need some self reflection time, but I don't know where to start. So let's start somewhere where it's completely out of the blue. Why not?
Yeah.
Okay. Feel free to take these ideas and be like, how does this apply to me? That's a good way to start your self reflection, and that's a good way to start. Hey, like, how would I approach this? How would I take it step by step? How does this fall in line with my morals and my experiences? So yeah.
Yeah, I think a good first topic, and we were actually somewhat struggling to pick like a first topic, especially with like the opening questions, but it's okay. It's okay.
It's okay.
We were thinking.
Here, let's do a context. Okay,
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
so I'm Ren, and I'm the second year in computer engineering, and I just finished my first year, and I did some pretty hasty decisions, regardless of a no lifer that I am. And then tell us about your experience now that, well, he's graduated.
Yeah.
But we're talking about college, so let's
Yeah.
give our academic descriptions.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, if you guys didn't know, the first episode is basically going to be about our college experiences.
Yeah.
I think it's a good like common ground for a lot of our demographic to start out with. So let's. So Ren did say that he was, a second year.
Yeah.
So he's in the thick of it now with this college experience. You're about to be. You're about to,
To be a second year.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you are getting to like the more exciting parts of college.
Yeah.
As for me, I'm like 2 years removed from undergrad. I graduated in May 2022. I did start college, or I graduated high school back in 2016. So if you
No
count
one
that-
do the math.
yeah, do the math. I took basically 6 years to graduate. I did, I went to UCR for my first year. Studied under the guise of economics, but really, did I even study it all?
Okay, econ majors.
Yeah, econ major. We honestly,
I
it
fuck
was
with
like-
econ majors though.
no, they're cool, but like I was just econ major passing because
That wasn't his true form yet.
Yeah, all I did was basically just party and party and party. Like 80% of the time, I'm gonna tell you all, I just partied my first year of college. I barely just made it to all my midterms and finals and my homeworks.
Okay, that brings us to our question. Depending on the major, how often should a college student go out and party or do social events?
Man. I mean, it's really gonna depend on the person.
Yes. Not only the major, but yes, the
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, because I mean, like, we all know that like the typical business majors can have a set schedule
Yeah.
and then they can party like every 3-day weekend.
Yeah.
Like they don't even count Fridays. I'm being honest.
All they gotta do is finish whatever the hell their homework is to type up that essay and they're heading out.
They're done. They are done. Engineering majors. I was an electrical engineering major.
You transferred,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, I mean, yeah. Sorry.
He's transferred majors, switch majors.
Yeah. So I actually transferred out of UCR after my first year. Went to Point Loma Nazarene as an electrical engineering. So it was such a switch
Oh,
in
yes.
like how I carried myself. I
Mhm.
basically didn't have a life after my first year, which is really terrible. All I did was study, and I still barely scraped by. But we're gonna talk about that later. Um, Going back to that question, how often should you know?
And this is where we start having our differences, okay? I'm a
Gosh,
computer
yeah.
engineering major and I'm not planning to switch out. But my first year, I barely partied. I'd say just I this is coming from two STEM majors, okay, guys? Nobody liberal arts majors come up.
Like we love you, liberal
We
arts
love you.
majors. Like y'all are like the fun. Y'all are fun.
Yeah,
Fun as
you
fuck
guys are
at
really
parties.
really fun. But I swear I think I partied at least once or twice every quarter. So that's like once or twice every 3 months.
Yeah, when I was an econ major at UCR, I partied literally every weekend.
Yep. Okay. And also, let's also take into account dorming and all that stuff. But again, uh, let's take into account like who you surrounded yourself with. Because I surrounded myself with really people who could really balance their social and academic life. So we knew when to stop and be like, okay, we're getting burnt out. We should go out and like have a social life, meet up with friends, all that stuff. And then also, there's times where we're stuck in the study room for hours and hours, just studying physics and doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
But they went to go party so much more than me. I have two friends that are in aerospace. Yeah, they were
Aerospace?
aerospace engineering. Yeah, they were partying all the time, man.
How the fuck do they have the time though?
They make the time. Okay, but you surrounded yourself because you moved out.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah,
surround
yeah.
yourself with interesting people.
Yeah, I joined the Filipino org at UCR my first year. I was high off the heels of like a really bad relationship breakup with my high school sweetheart. Um, so couple that with the new college experience and you're dorming, you're away from family. Oh, that's why. Honestly,
And also, he had strict parents.
yeah, my parents are strict. Well, for
Had.
yeah, for a guy, sorry, we're gonna bring that there, but like,
Yeah.
you know,
This is our intersectionality.
if you're the guy and especially a Filipino household, like they're strict. They'll like most Philippine parents will be strict, but
Once you turn 18 and you're a guy,
basically they kind of just leave you alone. I just had to make sure I didn't come home drunk or whatever.
yeah, visibly drunk.
Visibly drunk, but yeah, I joined the Filipino org.
Hmm.
I partied a shit ton, but then
If you could give us a number, what would you say?
a number of what?
Parties you've been to in like months, weeks.
Let's take my first quarter at Riverside. I didn't really like party as often. I probably went to like 2
Oh, not
because
bad.
like I was just barely getting to know these people.
Yeah.
But if you like second quarter, like winter quarter,
Yes.
oh, sorry, we'll take a short break.
Okay. back at it again.
Okay, yeah, we're back. Um, I guess we were talking about
How often you partied
how
in
often. Yeah,
your second quarter? You started going
right,
out
right.
more.
There you go. Like first quarter, it was just I don't know, two parties because
Yeah.
I was just getting to know, barely getting to know people. Plus, I didn't drink that much. But when second quarter came in, and we officially got picked up by our kuyas and ates, oh boy! And I met my twins and my sibs. It
And
was
you know
literally,
UCR.
yeah, party
Mus-
school. Literally every single, like it didn't have to be every weekend, but like at least I at least drank once every week or so.
Every 18, 19-year-old Asian boy. This is your rite of passage at UCR, man.
Yeah, I mean, I guess anyone inland empire, anyone in SoCal really.
Anyone in SoCal,
Anyone
yeah.
in a UC, come on. Like, but I guess UCR at the time was just like,
UCR still is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Sorry, I'm feeding into the stereotypes. Love you, UCR.
okay, but let's go to try answering that question. Yes, it depends on your
Major who you
major
are.
and who you meet. Honestly, as long as you meet the, you know, as long as you meet your requirements and you're passing your classes
Yeah.
and you're comfortable with where you are and your time management, that's what's important.
Okay, lecture. I'm
I
kidding.
mean, I'm talking I'm talking as someone who
What's the
is
point?
subpar with his time management.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why I kind of had to tell myself, oh, these next 5 years at Point Loma, you have to lock in because you need, just get a degree.
It's,
Like, yeah,
C's get degrees. I live by that.
I lived by that.
You lived, and I'm living by that right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's your introspection. Someone that graduated and then someone that's currently in
yeah.
college.
What about you? As
Uh,
someone who is right now going through
I
college,
want to say that I really want to try go to more parties and learning my limits. But again, yeah, I'm more of an introvert now. So I don't really like the idea of having going to like this big house party or something, go to a frat party. I've been invited to a few frat parties before and I just turned it down because it's like I don't know. I don't know how to feel about wanting to go out and see people that I completely don't know, but I mean, yeah, it really is down to who you hang out with because I when if my close group of friends from like that I met on through at UCSD, since I go to UCSD, I completely forgot to say that. um,
there you go.
if they
Another
ask
someone
me to
who's
go drink,
someone who's
I'm
from
a
UC
going.
from UC also.
UC socially dead,
Yep.
yeah. If they ask me to go drink, I'm down. It's just not outside, but yes, it's your preferences, knowing your limits, trusting people who can take care of you. You should go out pretty often as long as you got that assignment down. If you can use a late pass, if that exists still, because I have late passes sometimes.
We didn't have that
If you fit,
UCR.
I went there.
Not at my time at least.
Yeah, they're a little bit more forgiving, but as long as you get your dude, if you say and you tell yourself, I'm gonna finish this coding assignment by 11:59. Make sure all the test cases are done and that it's all cleared, and I turned it in. Go. That's your motivation.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Go at least like 3 times a semester, a quarter, however your school runs on, and go. Why not? This is the time for you. The moment you this we'll talk about this more, but the moment you step on campus, you feel that freedom, man. You feel that freedom. You can
Yes.
do anything you want, and your parents probably most likely are not gonna know what you did on that damn campus. They just leave you on there and be like, "Have fun, go do your classes."
Yeah, no, it's funny when you say that because it's have fun, do your classes. That's insane. They
It's a
just think
crazy statement.
it is a crazy It is a crazy statement.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
no, I mean, yeah, like definitely, like when you're there, I'm gonna say it like dorming. It just adds on to the experience
Oh yes, my friend
because you're
dormed.
there. You are there.
Yep.
You haven't unless you have a car and you're like like local in the area. So say you're from San Diego, but you went up to Riverside like me,
Yeah.
but you didn't have a car. You're basically stuck there.
Yep.
You really are immersed in that entire dorming
You're gonna
experience.
You're gonna meet people in the same suite as you, same floor as you, same building as you. You start meeting familiar faces on the same campus as you, and be like, "Hey, I never got to talk to you, but here we are now." You know,
Yeah,
you're gonna get immersed in there, and you're gonna leave your dorm at 2 a.m. and no one's gonna tell you you can't.
yeah. Like one thing that we did normally, and I'm pretty sure this is still like a traditional, like a very like still a tradition at UCR, is if you go to UCR and someone tells you at like 1 in the morning, "Hey, seaside, seaside."
I'll
I
see
know
you.
all y'all whoever's going to UCR right now. I know y'all know about seaside, or you're gonna know about seaside. You go to Seaside Bakery, bro, at like 2, 3 in the morning because like it's what like an hour and a half drive from Riverside going all the way to the beach area at Seaside. You're crossing Inland Empire, and you're gonna be there and just hang out with the homies and shit.
Yeah, I never knew about this. This is him unfolding all of the UCR secrets, guys.
Okay, I think we're talking too much about
But no, yeah, okay. Moving on. Speaking of the majors that we did and how you switch majors, actually, should we talk about the structure of going into college, the transition of going to college? Since
I think that's a good one
yeah,
because
we're talking about our first years and our second years and all that stuff and partying. Just moving into college, man. Well, you're technically not a first generation college student, huh?
no, because my parents, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they went to college, but
Yeah.
I'm first gen like U.S.
Yeah,
college student.
immigrant.
So I mean, in essence, I am the first of in my family who's been um like who's done the college what's it called, the education system here. My parents
Yeah.
graduated in the Philippines, because
My mom graduated in the Philippines, but of course that degree doesn't count here.
oh what?
She was a dentist. She passed the board exam in the Philippines.
Wait, that's bullshit.
Yeah, yeah. That's she tried working under the dentistry near where we live, and the most she can do was a dental assistant.
Wait, that's bullshit because my uncle he got his board exam done and everything in the Philippines and he got it here. I don't know. I feel like that's bullshit.
It is
Like,
bullshit,
yeah.
but you know how America is.
Ugh,
But yeah, experiencing like transitioning to college, I feel like this is a very oversaturated topic, but we're going into it anyways because we have different experiences. I'm a first generation college student. My parents don't know anything about the system, and probably the demographics that's gonna find this is gonna be in the same boat as me. They didn't know how to fill out FAFSA. I didn't know how to fill out FAFSA before they changed the form to make it quote unquote easier.
yeah.
Um, and then now that I'm in college, not gonna lie, I really mean it. Back to what I said, it's like once you step on that campus, you can do anything. You
Yeah.
can choose not to go to lecture, and your parents are not gonna know. Then no one's gonna call from the office, calling your parents' number, being like, "Your kid wasn't here today for attendance." No,
Yeah.
like I don't know. Do you have anything that really shook you up once you moved to your dorm, and you're like, "Fuck, I don't know how I'm supposed to navigate through this."
Um, yes, but I'll also I'll actually start from like what you said about like our parents not
Yeah,
knowing
yeah,
how to
sure,
fill out
sure.
FAFSA because I was the same way. Like in fact, because we're starting from the whole oh the transition from high school to college.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you, it's such a jump into the abyss
Yeah.
because the thing is you were given one semi-ish extended summer break to
Yeah,
kind
three
of do
months.
whatever. Yeah, but because like here's the thing, high school, you're basically spoon-fed your entire schedule,
Yes, the
right?
schedule is done for you. You talk to your counselors, even though they're not helpful. Let's be honest,
Yeah,
and they give you your schedule, and you just go with the flow with it. But here you are. Once you graduate, you have those 3 months. You feel like, oh, great, graduated. I feel like my life is out of a freaking American high school movie. But here you are, and they're like, hey, you need to take these health tests. You're gonna take it
yeah,
for tuberculosis. You're gonna have to turn in your photo ID, and then you have to schedule your classes.
yep. That's like the one thing that they will like. These are just some of the things that they will not teach you
They will never
in high
teach
school,
you.
and that's where I feel like the education system kind of like really fails
Oh
to
yeah,
set you up for success. That's the issue. they will not set you up for success going forward.
No, they
And
won't.
you have to basically scrap around to find all the resources you need.
Mhm.
You listed some things that did apply to me,
Yeah.
but man, let me tell you, like after I did my college apps in November, the spring before I graduated high
Yeah.
school, like I had to take like placement exams,
Ah, yes, the placement exams.
especially
Yes,
for math and
the MP
yeah.
of the UC system.
Oh, I mean, I think it's different now for you guys
Mhm.
because in 2016, like we still had to take like different batteries, like or not different batteries, but like a localized like battery exam. I forgot the name of
Okay.
the exam, but that basically determined whether I was gonna start in pre-calc or calc.
Yeah, for
Where
me,
yeah
it's called MPE. It
yeah
is exactly like that too. They
yeah
probably call it different. Probably navigated a different way. They probably updated the website or something. Yeah.
probably, but like yeah, um, I was just chilling at home, and then I started digging around, just to do prep because this is already when I was in like during summer break.
Yeah.
After I already graduated, and then I looked at like my emails just as out of curiosity,
Mhm.
and then there were a bunch of like, oh, important, you need to do this, you need to do that. I'm like,
Oh
what
shit.
the fuck?
Yeah.
I didn't even realize I was late to file like to give in like some documents,
Yeah. Oh
and then
fuck.
like I had to basically drive up to Riverside to kind of make a like um what's it called, a makeup for the that battery
Fuck.
entrance exam on a weekend. I didn't want to
Right.
because I was already planning. I think is that weekend I was already planning to go to LA to visit some friends like from our old church, right?
Yeah.
But I had to shove it. I had to shove it off because I'm like,
This is your education. They're not gonna
exactly.
let you
No,
in. They're not gonna let you schedule your classes if you don't finish this stuff.
no, but like think about it though. Like imagine your first up, like that's your first experience. I mean, I'm speaking as like for me, but
Mhm.
imagine that
Yeah.
being your first experience. Like you guys will probably have some different like shocking first experiences about how to like adult in
No, I'll
college.
tell you right now. A lot of people I know that when we were first started our first year didn't know about that stuff too. I'll
Mm-hmm.
tell you, there's not a lot of people because guess what? The college is not gonna tell you. They're not gonna tell you, hey, you should start checking your emails
Yeah,
periodically now. Now that you graduated, nobody will tell you anything. They just tell you, hey, you're accepted. The last day to accept whether or not you want to go to this college is this date, and that's it. And
yeah.
they're like, pay up, and I think this is where we start differing because, well, do you want to continue?
Uh,
Because I feel like that's a really good point because I have a completely different experience, but it's because I work
no,
differently.
I mean,
Okay.
go share if you have it. I mean,
Okay.
I shared my like first college experience, like and how I
Mine
transitioned
was
into
completely different. We basically did the same things. Where like, yes,
the battery
exactly, yeah.
exams, right? Yeah.
We didn't call. There's no like board exam, no nothing, and the personalized thing. But I will tell you, I think it's because of the guilt. Oh, we can talk about this. Yeah, the guilt of being a first generation student and understanding that like this is the first time anyone in my family will experience the college system in America. This is the first time, and this is the one chance that I get to really get this education.
Right.
And like it's that moment where it's like, oh yeah, my parents gave up everything for this. So I felt a lot of guilt, and I felt a lot of need to prepare. So once I graduated from high school, which was in 2023, um, I immersed myself in so much work and research. So a lot of people at UCSD that I met, it's like I didn't even know how the college system worked. I don't know. I kind of regret picking this college and this college because I didn't know the GEs would be this bad or this easy or whatever. It doesn't collide or it doesn't like go work. It doesn't work out with their major and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I did my research. I did everything. I was on top of everything. I did my MPE exam and I did like all my research and everything went really smooth for me. But the thing is, a lot of my friends didn't know what to do. So they went to go ask me because I was just like texting all my friends. And I feel like this was very selfless of me. And I feel like it was obviously not my responsibility. But again, when you realize it in introspection, like, why isn't the college telling us to do this in the first place? Why aren't you guys letting us know in the first place? But I kept telling my friends, like, hey guys, like, you should take the MPE exam. You're gonna have to do this because it matters which type of math series
Yeah,
you're
your placements
taking, your
basically.
placements. If you have to take a pre-writing class, or you're able to go straight into different types of writing classes that have to do with like world religion, blah blah blah, DEI courses.
Right.
Um, People did not know that. They're like, "What the fuck, Ren? How do you know this?" It's just like you have to dig so much through your own school's websites and stuff, and through your own college websites if you have a college system inside the university. It's like you have to do so much fucking prep, and that's what I spent the last 2 months on after I graduated. I spent a whole month. I went on a cruise because my parents wanted me to celebrate me graduating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I will say I was like very grateful for that. But after that, it's just like I started being really, really, really paranoid about what if I miss something? What if I miss out on turning a deadline? What if I miss on? What if they don't let me schedule my classes?
I'm with you there.
Like, it
Yeah.
was a whole moment where I was started spiraling. I was like, I don't know if I'm prepared enough for this.
Like it's crazy how like the the anxiety that settles in, and you're basically conditioned from this as you transition into college, which is
Yeah,
terrible. Like,
yeah.
why
It's a
are you
terrible first impression of a college.
why do we get so anxious when we look at our, like, oh, we have this day to register for classes, we have up to this
To turn
time.
in your damn ID photo
Yeah, like,
or your health records. Like,
yeah,
nobody tells you this stuff, and I'm being really honest. Most of all, the biggest stressor was how are you supposed to? You spend literally 12 years of someone else doing your goddamn schedule for you, and all of a sudden, in a span of 3 months, they ask you, "Hey, you need to learn how to do your own schedules.
yeah,
Hey, you need to figure out what time's best when you need to wake up, and hey, you need to figure out what appointment time you have to start scheduling classes, all that other stuff." And you're like, what the fuck? How do I do that? How do I know what works best for me? How do I know if I need an hour gap or 3 hours gap between two classes? Because what if I'm tired? What classes am I even supposed to fucking take?
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
that was the biggest stressor of all, because a lot of my friends didn't know what the hell to do, and obviously me, who was a chronic overthinker of not wanting to fuck up my first year, I literally did all my research and I made sure that all my classes, I had backups for my schedule, because UCZ is a huge school. There's a ton of people that go. There's it's really hard. It's like, dude, you're in the Thunderdome the moment that you get your appointment time and you're clicking shit like it's a fucking shoe drop. I'll tell you that.
Oh, that, yeah, no,
It's like
that's
a
such a
shoe
terrible
drop.
thing.
And everyone tries to sign up for the classes, and next thing you know, you have the wait list, and now you think, oh, fuck, now I'm like wait list 3 on this damn class. What if I don't get it? What's gonna happen?
Hmm.
Like so many different things. And then they expect you to like figure it out and find a way.
I definitely, like, feel you, especially like because I went to UCR my first year. I feel you on, like, having to fight for a spot to, like, register for classes. And but, like, for me, my stressor was not necessarily the classes as much as it was trying, like, asking my academic counselor to transfer over, because, like, I wanted to get to engineering, right? Like, I guess, like, halfway through, like, spring quarter, when I was, like, trying to register for classes for spring quarter,
Yeah.
was like, hey, I'm trying to transfer over. Imagine, like she'll be telling you, oh, come back in 3 weeks, because, like, we're kind of filled up on spots, like, and, like, this isn't the time to meet, to ask around. And you might need to go to the other, like college's, academic office to ask for that counselor.
Oh,
Check
that's
them again.
messy.
Yeah, exactly, check them again in 3 weeks. I did that. Went 3 weeks. They said, oh, we're not actually supposed to be handling that. Your home college academic office is supposed to be handling that, so go back. So imagine I had to wait 3 weeks to just like
Get
be
that
get
answer.
sent back. And I like though I wouldn't have gotten like an audio, like
Oh
like a
my
meeting
god.
time, an appointment time with the back to my original counselor if I didn't like be pushy about it towards them. I said, hey, this is urgent. I need to speak to my counselor again
Yeah.
because I'm trying to do a switch and they're not letting me. And then my counselor got back to me within the week, said, oh, yeah, right. So you can't switch. Imagine waiting 4 weeks just to hear, oh, you can't switch.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's
And I said,
crazy.
wait,
Why not?
why not? Like, is it because like it's gonna take long? Is it because I placed in pre-calc instead of calculus 1? And I said, I don't mind staying like an extra 2 years if you need me to stay. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to switch to your engineering program.
Yeah.
And they said, no, like, for reasons why we can't I'm like, why can't you disclose it? Like, they
That
didn't
makes
even
no
disclose it for
sense.
me. I mean, I think they should have disclosed it,
You
but
have
they
the
were
right.
not lazy. And I was young and dumb at the time, okay?
It's okay.
I'm going to touch on what you said about, like, you and your parents not knowing anything about this, because I was
That's
in the
why.
same thing.
Yeah.
Like, being the eldest, especially. I mean, this is where
Oh, I'm
it
the
differs.
youngest and
Yeah,
he's the oldest, right?
it's ironic because I always expected the eldest going first to college to always be struggling, but this one, Ren is the one
I'm the only one that ended up going to
going to
college.
college.
I have an older brother, but he is not going,
Yeah.
and I respect that.
So you end up becoming the one sibling to go to college, like basically the first and last one.
Yep.
So, oh, that's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
that broke the stereotype I was like having in my head for so long. But yeah, like I said, can I'll just stay, I'll like if I can, like, let me just stay and work towards it. I don't mind staying longer. I'll pay more money. They wouldn't just let me go, but I was too dumb to like realize it. And I guess now, like, to kind and just to kind of close this off, like, we can touch on more about it in like in a further, like, later on conversation.
Yeah.
But that's why I've been so on about like my little sister, because she just turned 18. She just graduated, about to head into like her own college experience. I am very much on like giving her the blueprint of how I did college.
Yeah.
Because she may not go through it the same way I did, but any of the the unnecessary hardships that I went through, because me and my parents didn't know a damn thing.
Right.
How to maneuver around and get transitioned into first year college. Well,
Yeah.
she knows that now. That's why I'm gonna tell you, structure, and this is my personal take. If you are not 100% sure where your career is gonna be, do not go to 4-year university.
Yeah.
That's another thing they won't tell you.
Yeah.
That's another thing they won't tell you, because I talk to like college counselors that have visited school or have visited our church.
Yeah,
I have. I'm not gonna name drop names, but I know you, and you know who you are. If you listen to this, I'm sorry. I'm not really sorry, but they told us, like, because they're academic counselors for that university, they're gonna keep telling you. Oh,
they're gonna tell you, feed you lies.
You should go to 4-year university regardless, because it looks good on your resume. Yeah, it looks good on your resume, but if you're not sure of and imagine going already to 4-year university.
Yeah.
You're already bleeding money.
Yes, absolutely.
Through loans or your own money.
Yes, absolutely.
And you're taking out loans every year, like thousands upon thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Goes up to tens of thousands of dollars per like year.
Yeah.
And you don't know what the hell you're doing. That, for me, like that
was
not
so
only heavy.
Yeah.
On my conscience, because like, not only am I shouldering my own, which I could probably deal with, but I had to ask my parents. Fortunately, they were able to help with like the plus loan.
Yeah.
That the parents should be able to like handle like 80% of the cost.
Yes.
of the financial aid / loan.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm saying, like, if you do not want that feeling on like that level of gravity towards yourself.
Yes.
and just go to. It's okay to go to community
Community.
college.
It's a good thing that in these recent years, community college is a lot more like the norm. Like if someone says they're going to community, no one's gonna bat an eye. I'm really glad because genuinely you save money and you save a lot of time because again, taking some of the GEs and depending on what like
Yeah.
what university or college you go to, it's like some shit gets hard, bro. Some shit's like why what is the point, bro? Like what the fuck? And so it again, it's also your own journey. Who cares if you take 5, 6 years? Who cares if you take four? Who takes if you take three? Good for you if you take three. It's the fact that as long as you get a goddamn degree, bro, it doesn't matter. It's just point A to point B.
That's another thing, like, of how college and adulting kind of mirrors itself. The whole notion of being able to graduate with your with your original batch, like your intended batch, that's that's just like a that's a nice dream to have, right?
Yeah,
So say, oh, we all started in 2016 and we should all graduate 2020. It's cute, but that's high school, like
yeah,
whimsical things,
yeah,
like you gotta understand that when you go to college, it's all about like your own thing now,
yeah.
like
This is at your own pace.
your
It's
own
not
pace.
not with your friends' pace. It's not with the people that you meet pace. It's not with your partner's pace. No,
Mm-mm.
it is yours. Like don't let anyone else think that you're falling behind just because of that aspect.
Yeah.
Definitely not. Because man, I wouldn't be going to a 4 year right now. I wouldn't. Okay, yeah. Let's dive into this for FAFSA too,
Yeah,
and
that's a
just
good segue because
financial.
that was
Yeah,
actually our next topic.
yeah. Is that I wouldn't be at UCSD if I didn't have a scholarship. And I was generally going to tell my parents that, like, hey, I don't think we should take out loans, and I don't think we should strain ourselves financially if I don't get college. Because recently my family hit what's considered to be middle class in California, and middle class in California is not livable. You can't survive like that. And
Hmm.
I wouldn't be going to UCSD if I didn't have the scholarship. And yeah, I'm grateful, but definitely it is a uphill battle with myself, and I'm like, god damn, I wish I just took community college, but it's okay. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, like, it's all like the regret will probably be all in retrospect, and we can always like go back
it's
to the
yeah,
whole
I'm not
damn.
yeah,
I wish, but like that won't do you. Like what
it
I also
won't do me
realized. Yeah,
good just to
exactly,
think about the past. I'm here
exactly.
now, and I literally finished my first year. Like honestly, I don't have any regrets of choosing to go to like straight into a 4 year, just because obviously I knew my pros and cons,
Yeah,
and I honestly am very grateful that we both met at a crossroad where this is our first we're the first people in our families to really go through the college system here,
yeah.
and
They.
we react to it different ways. I chronically felt like I needed to push myself to be prepared for the most, when at the end of the day both of us, and you barely prepared and you barely found out till later.
Tell me.
And yes, it's both situations are stressful, but at the end of the day we both weren't prepared the moment we stepped onto campus. There's genuinely things you cannot control,
Hmm.
but no how much you lack your preparation or how much you do prepare. We both weren't ready. I wasn't ready and you weren't ready.
Yeah, I mean, like like ironically, like we, as much as we wanted, we want everyone to who's like is listening to this to kind of like be as prepared as you can, but in reality, college, like, it's not even just college.
Just
Think of it.
entering
Think
real
about,
life.
yeah, exactly. It's your next phase of life. You'll never be prepared enough what's in store. But the nice thing about it is you'll have, I mean, us two here on the podcast, well, we're here sharing our experiences. But also, if you have your friends around who have been through that experience as well, or they're going through it, you are so like blessed to be able to like learn as much from us who's gone before or going through it now, so that
Yeah.
you're more prepared, as like whatever that, wherever you draw that line,
Yeah.
how prepared you are.
It truly takes a village.
It truly does take a village.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the village is finding out that FAFSA sucks.
Oh yeah, that's Talk.
We're technically both middle class, right?
Yep, yep.
Yeah, we're both middle class. I don't think I'm middle class. It's just certain circumstances in my finances or my family ended up being there. And yeah, you have a completely different experience from me. You took out loans, and I haven't taken out loans.
Oh,
Do you want me to start, or you were
wait.
gonna
I
start
forgot who
ranting?
started last. Was it you first or me?
It was you because
Okay,
you talked about yeah, UCR and stuff. Okay,
go for it.
so yeah, my family hit middle class, and I didn't know about this actually because my 4 years in high school, I went to a low income school. It's a low income area, so everything was like free lunch meals and all that stuff. Thanks, Michelle Obama, and we. I thought like I live in a small little apartment. The rent is crazy. Let's not talk about that. Fuck California. And I filed for FAFSA after weeks of preparation before it, and then this is my first time looking at an IRS form. That was my
Oh,
first time reading through it.
the tax or
Yeah,
that
the tax
yeah.
forms, whatever the hell numbers it was. It was my first time looking at it, and I saw those numbers on my parents' like income together because they're joint, and I was like, what the fuck? How are we gonna pay for college? Like actually. And then next thing you know, I turned in my FAFSA and I accept UCSD's like thing, and then I paid for their I forgot the term, but like intent to enroll.
Yeah, your intent of admission. Yeah.
Yes. And then I saw my financial aid, and I genuinely, my heart dropped to my ass, and I was like, fuck, bro. Like I don't know. In that moment I knew I was gonna go to Southwestern and I was gonna do community and all that stuff. I genuinely felt like there was nothing I could do to really get into college, but I wanted like there was this moment in time I was just like maybe it was like for the best to not go. Um, and it doesn't make sense to me why they should raise in my FAFSA. If you're listening to this, you should raise the damn income levels
Mm,
because 90K 100,000 is not livable in
no.
California, and they
Yeah.
consider it to be middle class. Because I'm at this point where I am too I make my family makes too much money to get really good financial aid, but I'm not poor enough to live and pay for college.
You know what's crazy, and you know because you're basically best friends with my sister.
Yeah.
When she did her FAFSA, our basic our basically our tax bracket score to apply for FAFSA was too high, which to the point she also got none.
Yeah.
So she I know when she told you that you would probably be like,
I knew
yeah,
it. I did tell her that. I was like, "Yes, I get it. I know how much your guys' family like um makes, but you need to just see it. Just see it. And also it'll help them if she ever needs to apply for a loan, FAFSA will be there even if it'll fuck them over, but you just never know cuz you have to keep your options open. Not
yeah,
anything could happen in the next 4 years now. And
yeah,
it'll genuinely take a hit at you mentally, emotionally, financially, physically. So yeah,
definitely. Like,
fuck FAFSA.
yeah,
Sorry. Like
FAFSA is so dumb.
without having with the only good thing in my experience that I had, and I will forever be grateful for it, is that my low income school has a foundation for like obviously these low income students that want to go to college and
Yep.
get tertiary education, and I applied to their scholarships, and I had a fever the night of the ceremony, and I found out waking up from like a nap with a freaking 100-degree fever, and I was like, they were like, Ren, you got a scholarship, and I was like, fuck, no way. And then I also got another scholarship from another institution. I don't know if I'm allowed to name drop, but let's just not say it. Um,
Yeah.
and
Let's
yeah,
save our asses for now. Let's
yeah,
cover our asses for now. Let's
but
not.
and then I was like, fuck. And so
Yeah.
it was a real moment in time where I felt like I needed to make a decision, um, to see like, do I choose to go to this 4 year, or do I choose to really give up that chance? because they already accepted me.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, when I applied to all these colleges in November, I was like, there's no way that UCSD is going to accept me into a degree, a cap major. Because that shit's like
Yeah.
the biggest things at UCSD is obviously the STEM majors because it's a research school.
Yep.
But like the cap majors, I was genuinely terrified because I'm facing against people from like the Bay who are worked with fan companies because they have those opportunities up there,
Yeah, the
and
connections. Yeah.
and they have these connections and all this other stuff, and I'm just like this fucking immigrant kid that barely knows anything about coding and just really likes computer parts. Like, what do you mean, right? The
Yeah.
only advantage I had is that I'm an SD local, and UCSD is supposed to cater towards like obviously the greater San Diego area,
Yeah.
and there's like yeah, but the idea of like not getting into my first choice major, when I saw my acceptance letter and it was the major I wanted, I was like, fuck.
You gotta
I
go.
do
Yeah.
like I guess I can apply and transfer and stuff,
Yeah.
but like this is a chance to really like do the whole 4 years experience, and it's not for everyone.
Exactly.
And also I'll say that I never had the experience of extreme like imposter syndrome being in an engineering or like just in any major. Is like this is something I actually want. Like that was a major. This major that I'm in is like something I genuinely have a passion for, and I actually do like it in both the real world sense and in the theoretical sense of what I'm studying. It's just like, do I pass up this opportunity? Do I really give it up just because I can't pay for it? You know?
I mean, but that's why, like, when we were talking about that whole, sorry,
Yeah.
I am still recovering from the debut last night.
Yes.
Goodness gracious.
He had a fun time. Lots of dancing.
And I did emceeing, but yeah. Anyways, it's what did I tell you about the whole like, if you do not know, like, I really feel like the baseline for going to 4-year university, regardless if you have the money or not,
Yeah.
it's if you know you're a ride or die for this major.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
that's the only way. Like, if you know you're not switching and you know it's like any other major isn't me,
Yeah.
that's when you should go.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, go. It is always a safe bet to go to community, because the thing is, back to the structure, right?
Yeah.
Prepping. You're spending, if you're like a resident of the state,
Yeah.
of a university, was it not university, community college you're going to, you're only spending on average 40 to 44 bucks per unit.
Yeah.
So
That's around like 120 for each class.
each class. So if you are taking 16 units, you're probably averaging 600 to 800 bucks a semester.
Yeah.
Not including the books, but that's your classes.
Yeah.
Look how much that compared to 6 to 8,000 every semester.
Yes. Agreed.
You are not gonna be able to, sustain that. So, like, if you know you ain't got the chops and the whole setup for it in the beginning, and like basically all these different like setups, I really just would encourage you to just go to community college and then figure out, because also, fuck anyone who says that community college's quality of education is worse than what's it called, universities, because I've known multiple community college professors
That go to that
that
teach
teach
at the same.
state universities and
Yep.
UCs,
Yep.
and I'm just like, wow.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
their curriculum is generally the same
Yes.
as what they would be
Why would
teaching.
they change the curriculum if they're teaching the same damn
Like,
class?
you think they got paid enough to change?
Yeah. Let's be
they
honest.
they really don't.
They
Like,
really
the
don't.
system fucks them over too.
Yes.
So, like, you are not gonna get any less quality of an education for your first 2 years if you so choose to do community college. You're just spending less.
Also, on the other hand, if you really are locked, this is also like something else we should consider is like if you're already in the 4-year university and you want to switch majors, but it
Yeah.
genuinely is just the major that's ruining your whole college experience for you, it is completely normal to switch majors.
Yeah.
It is okay. As long as, again, you're at this point of your life, you get to choose about where you want to go.
Yeah.
That is genuinely such a big decision, and such it scopes around what do I want to, how I want my social life to be once I graduate, how do I want my professional life to be once I
Yeah.
graduate, what are my aims and goals that are both realistic and unrealistic, that like, hey, long term, short term, whatever.
Correct.
It's like there should be no shame in wanting to switch majors and finding out like, hey, this isn't for me. But it's all at the end of the day, it's like at least you found out what you like and don't like.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're happy about where you go, um, outside of your major, there should be nothing that's stopping you from switching out.
They really shouldn't.
The only thing is just like, of course, the system will always fail you in some way, shape, or form.
And it's not only that the system will fail you. Like, I don't. This is like a little tangent. Well, I'll bring that up as well because I think it's important. But it's also like depends on the culture and the family. You know, basically the culture that you grew up from.
Yes.
Because just to touch into a bit of it, Filipino culture. You know, let's bring up the stereotypes. Engineer and nursing, right?
Yes.
Or doctor, whatever.
Yes.
Anything that's stable and is relevant in the global stage of like professions, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, don't let that fear stop you from switching out majors if you know that's really not you.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: you may not necessarily be a nurse, but you know you're still part of like
Medical field.
medical field,
Research
Shit,
field.
you could do a little bit of research. See, like here's the thing: some friends of mine, they're not nurses, but they do occupational therapy.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah, you know, they're not necessarily nurses, but they're still in that medical field that their families will be like low key proud of them for.
Yeah, they would have the acceptance for that. But yeah, I mean, it generally, this is my take. It's like, if you are passionate about something in terms of that you want to take that out from a hobby and turn it into your career, that is something that you should stick to regardless of anything.
Yeah, you see all these people, and I'm not saying like you have to do it like this because that's how they did it. That's like the one and true try test away. Not everyone's gonna reach that level, but it's just like how do you make the most out of it, right?
Yeah.
Like you have people that dropped out from college, but they started a business.
Yeah.
That's because they threw their efforts and all of their like
Skills,
skills and all.
knowledge.
They really threw themselves at it. That's where the hard work comes in. Really.
Yeah.
It look, they're making like what 5 figures a month sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, like you see all your content creators, they make so much money, but the thing is like, you know, I'll just keep it like that. But
Yeah.
just be mindful. Like what I'm trying to get at here is they had a goal that they wanted. That they had a goal they set only for them, and they
Yeah.
put their time and effort to make that happen. And mind you, they never, like a lot of these times they never usually have a backup plan.
Yeah.
Like that's fine, definitely, you know, go for it, but don't.
That's
I,
what they're passionate about.
exactly, like because they're passionate about it. Who am I to judge and stop them from doing that? Right?
Exactly.
And good for them. Great, you know.
I like to believe that people's perseverance is through their passion, and I want to say that my perseverance is through passion because, yeah, I mean, these classes are hard, man. There's so many hard concepts to juggle around, and then you also want to keep your social life, and you don't want to rot in your
Yeah.
academics forever. It's like, but at the end of the day, what really gets you going is your passions and your morals and
Yeah.
your own sense of like purpose of why you're doing it all
Mhm.
over again. And that's why so many people, regardless of what journey they take after high school, it's like they put their work in there.
Oh, they do.
That's very admirable. And yeah, I will say, now that I'm speaking about my own experiences in comparison to anyone else's and yours, it's like I'm really glad the cards turned out really well for me. Because no, even if I spiraled out after high school and I didn't really get to experience my summer properly before becoming a college student, it's like I'm just glad that where I am, my passion is helping me persevere through whatever I personally feel down about,
Yeah.
and I don't feel like an imposter being in this major, and I don't feel like I'm not doing enough sometimes because I'm just doing enough. I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. We really tangented from FAFSA.
Hey, that was a good
No,
transition, not gonna lie.
yeah, no, I guess like you can include that in the next topic. What was the next topic?
It could be honestly finding jobs or or just being graduated.
Oh, graduated. Oh, yeah. Like, what was he?
Yeah.
It was finding jobs during versus after.
I've been trying to. Okay. Here's another thing. We've been both looking for jobs
Oh yeah.
nowadays.
Oh yeah. Like people be telling me like, oh, the job market's bad. Just stay where you are, and I'm like, don't tell me that because like I know it's shit. The job market's bad, but also it's like I cannot trudge on like this if they keep like breaking my mental. You know, if they keep breaking
Yeah.
my mental, like
For starters, you're working under a startup.
oh my gosh, yeah. I've been so little bit of background for me. I've been working at a tech startup for like the last 3 years.
Crazy.
First year I did my internship in operations. Second, when I graduated, they absorbed me to do software quality assurance.
Completely unrelated to his major.
Yeah, which is funny. Not really. It's funny, but not really.
It's funny because we're coping.
We are coping. Thirdly, I'm now somewhat close to my like what I did graduate with, which is electrical. You know, and it's not like rocket science,
Yeah.
but like because it's a startup, like let me tell you, if the job market's shit, funding's been shit, people be leaving, especially if they're in your team. You are immediately impacted by the
Yep.
level of shit that you
You
are
work as a
like.
group, man. Working towards a common goal and then getting up and then leaving that common
Wow.
goal. Ooh,
Oh yeah,
tough.
it is tough. I like. I don't. I feel like this is probably another topic for another day.
Oh,
Just
for
I guess
sure.
a job searching, I guess But let me just tell you,
Do you
like,
feel did you feel prepared after you graduated that like, hey, this resume is pretty good after these 4 years. I should start applying
ooh,
to jobs. I'm okay. How was that
honestly,
experience?
if you think the transition, and I'm not trying to scare nobody here, but just know that you're not alone.
Oh, for sure.
This is just one of those like life transition things, like how you would, we originally talked about from college or from high school to
It's
college.
college.
No one
College
teaches
to
you shit.
real life.
This is like college to full on adulting, paying bills. I'm seeing all these tax forms, and I'm seeing all of
Thinking
these
about moving out,
thinking
buying
about
a
moving
car.
out. I don't make enough for that,
Yeah.
honestly. I'm being honest.
Okay, we live in California. Let's not set the expectations to be
Yeah,
too high, everyone.
exactly. Like it's just that other case. But the difference is that like you're not really given time to breathe in between either.
Yeah.
So like I will just tell you, be aware of like once you get out of university, I want everyone to set themselves up for success. You know,
This
like
is why everyone chronically is looking for a paid internship, doing some research for a professor. But genuinely, it is hard.
it is.
It is hard.
The nice thing is though, like about California though, like there's like I think there's a recent bill that's passed where you cannot do unpaid
Oh,
internships
yes.
anymore. They have to pay you because if you're putting in any hours that's what more than 20, they have to pay you part time. If you're doing
Right.
40, they have to pay you full time.
Full time.
You cannot be doing like you know because if they don't pay you, it's basically indentured servitude.
Right. Of
And
course.
we're not going back to that age anymore.
Yeah. No, let's not go back to that. But
Yeah.
yeah, now okay, and back into my context is like, yeah, I'm in middle class, and that scholarship's doing me really good. But obviously, that money does not grow from trees, and I need a job desperately. And it's just for things like feeding onto my social life. Like, I just want to go out and like eat food, be big bags with my friends,
Yeah.
man. Like, and it's also like, um, let's be honest, buy yourself a little sweet treat when you're on campus and you're feeling low and you're like, fuck this studying, let me go out and buy something from Yogurtland or something.
Yeah,
Like,
sweet treats will carry you far, especially when you're
yeah.
feeling low.
And I've been looking for jobs and I've been applying this whole summer. And I wasn't able to go to this internship because of, we had the whole boo and stuff. And I know that, like, that's probably a silly little excuse, but genuinely I didn't want to go all the way to San Mateo this summer. I kind of just, like, with the way that things turned out, I'm glad I didn't apply to that internship later on, just
Yeah.
because God knows what would have happened. And it's also this whole thing where, yes, I feel like I'm not doing enough, or well, I'm okay with feeling like I'm not doing enough, but this is where the things were like, shit, I should have done enough, because I don't have that good skills in comparison to a lot of people in my years, or like transfers in my years. I shouldn't be
Mhm.
comparing, but like, let's be real. I've only learned Java this year.
Yeah.
I barely started doing leak code problems, and I'm barely starting to think like a coder. And then also, it's like finally learning how to read circuits and circuit design
Yep.
as a computer engineer. And it's like, fuck, like, there's people out here that do this shit for fun, who just think about the craziest innovations. They're like, let's do it during summer. Why not? Let's do it for shits and giggles. And I'm like, that's the type of stuff that, like, a lot of these paid internships and these part-time jobs are looking for. And I've literally, me and my friend talked about this. We've spanned from working at SeaWorld, working at Sesame Place, being baristas, being bobaristas, to being lab assistants to clean up,
Yeah.
and then being doing remote jobs for data analysts and data organization, to doing office job applications. Like, anything could, I could take anything right now. Please just hire me.
That's so fucking real.
It's like, I've applied to 25 jobs probably, if I look at the places or the websites I've been applying from, and half of them are just reviewed. Everything else is just applied. The status for it is reviewed. I haven't gotten a single email back, bro. Not a single email back.
That's me too as well. Like right now, I don't look, of course, because the whole debut, like I guess, ate up so much of my time and I guess my efforts. But I think, like, I probably applied to like 50 some jobs these like last couple weeks. I don't think I've gotten an email back. And you've
Yeah.
seen my resume.
Yeah, I
Like
have.
I I'm actually pretty proud of how far my resume looks now
It's
compared
really
to last
solid,
year.
man.
And it worries me that they're still not taking me, Like I do not mind starting from a different like industry
Yeah.
the thing is I already know how to I'd say I'm pretty confident in knowing how to pick up my fundamentals when it comes to a different industry. It's just I
Yeah.
need to like have a few couple weeks to myself, just really imbibing the whole thing, and then that's when I can say, okay, I can really go full force at the work. Just give me a couple
Yeah.
weeks and I'd be good. But like, man, that's a different top. No, it's not a different topic, but it's relevant.
Yeah.
Me and my friend Ben, the one you
Yeah.
met yesterday,
Yeah.
on the way back home when I picked him up this past Wednesday, um, we were talking about like the anxieties that job hunting gives us right now because the market shit.
Yeah.
There's things called ghost jobs
Yes.
where
Yes.
they
Yes.
just like post a like a job posting,
Opening.
yeah,
Yeah.
an opening. But the thing is, they like companies like will do that just to show that, oh, the market's not as bad as it is.
That's crazy,
But in
bro.
reality, like it's really shit,
Yeah.
you know.
It also doesn't help for me right now is that I'm a commuter student and I commute by public transport. I don't drive. I should
No.
get on my license. I know, guys. But it's not like my family has enough money to buy another car. Back to the finances. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I, I, I'm an hour away through public transport and a 30-minute drive to my school. And like, I need to. I keep trying to find jobs that are locally near where I live, but all of them are just not hiring. or they have these quote unquote entry level jobs, but then they have all these requirements where I need to have experience. Like, at what point did being a barista need 1 year of experience? Like, actually. So
Yeah.
I've been relying on campus jobs, but even I start to feel like that UCSD doesn't even want to hire their fucking students, and I have a work study thing from FAFSA.
Yeah.
And a lot of schools on campus really like the idea of work study because obviously the check is not coming from the institution; it's coming from the um, from the government when you
Yep.
do work study. And they're all not coming back to me. I'm just like, well, what the fuck, team?
Yep.
I don't get it. So
See,
yeah,
see how like see how the market affects not only the outside but also the inside of like colleges as well.
yeah, man. It's like I know I should be grateful for my position now. That like, hey, I'm still in college. Hey, like I can still pay for my tuition. But like again, that money I cannot. At the end of the day, let's realize that we cannot rely on our parents forever for these next 4 years.
Yeah.
If you can rely on your parents and
Like
you
great.
strongly
Yeah.
confidently believe that they can like they'll be fine with it, I'm very very grateful for your position. But there's going to be a point in time where it can't be your parents' money. You need to learn how to start managing your money. And well, let's talk about that right now. I'm really terrible with managing my money. I'm gonna be honest with it right now because my parents never let me. Like we were never that rich to have like an allowance and stuff. It wasn't like a
Hmm.
Filipino thing at all. That's very American in my parents' eyes.
Yeah.
But they never really told me to learn how to manage. They were just like, "Oh, just go manage your money, okay? Make sure to do that and to do that and add it to your savings." Bitch, I barely started a bank account, and it's not even a credit card account. I barely started a bank account when I turned 18. My parents never let me have a bank account under them, under their name, at all.
Wow.
And so now
So
I get all these refunds from like a middle class scholarship and stuff, and it should be in my savings. And I don't
it's
know
going to
how
that. Yeah.
it's. I don't. I'll be honest, guys. I've made some really stupid financial decisions. I made some fucking terrible financial decisions, and it's biting me in the ass now because I'm looking for a goddamn job.
Yeah.
And I genuinely wish that like anyone could tell me some solid goddamn advice on how to fucking save. I wish I put that shit into a Roth IRA. I wish I put that
That's
shit into
another.
somewhere
Yeah.
else.
That's also something I
It's just
wish
like
I knew.
like
Yeah. That's also something I wish I knew
yeah
when I was your age, like like 7 years ago. I was like, I wouldn't even know what a Roth IRA was 7 years ago. I'm being honest.
yeah.
You know when I was told about it,
Mm.
like 2 years ago, when
What?
my parents like just found out about it too,
My parents
and I'm
didn't know
like,
about a Roth IRA. They were like,
we're
"What's
so
that?"
cooked, bro.
I was like, "Fuck."
I'm like,
The only thing they know is a 401k.
yeah, a 401k, dude. Like now you look at it in retrospect, right? If our parents are just finding out about these things,
We're
you don't
cooked,
realize how cooked we are.
dude.
It's insane.
It's just like yes, I'll be honest. I don't feel academically behind even as much as I should be feeling like, but I feel life behind. Like I don't know this stuff, and obviously we're left to our own devices. But it's just I have an overwhelming like feeling washing over me every single time I have to think about it. It's like I one thing I learned from my first year is like um how I like my schedule put. Personally, I like
Yeah.
having my schedule like 3 hours apart from classes, and people are gonna be like, "What? You commute? This is stupid. You don't want to be on campus." Yes, I want to be on campus at all times. I just want to be out, and I don't want to rot in my house as much as I need to. But the second thing is, I need to learn how to goddamn save money, and I need a goddamn job, bro.
Yeah, I mean, for me, saving money, I guess you kind of just. It, I didn't really learn how to manage my money until I was actually getting my own income, which was like I guess starting 2-ish years ago when I got like when they fully absorbed me into
Yeah,
from my internship into the software QA as a full time.
yeah,
Because once I got off of my internship, I stopped getting um what's it called, allowance from my parents. Yes,
right.
so like my parents fortunately were making enough money to be able to give me allowance to live like properly. I think it was like 200 a month.
Oh,
So I guess like
That's a white kid of you.
it is
Okay,
ironic.
Tennessee.
Tennessee,
He lived in
yo.
Tennessee for a bit.
I mean, also because my sister benefited from that as well.
Oh
So I think she got
yes.
$50. Like
Yeah.
when she started turning when she turned 16 is when she started getting
Hey,
her.
that's a good age to start giving kids allowance,
Yeah,
though.
16.
Yeah.
Like I feel like, and I'm like I said, I'm really sorry that you never got to experience like allowances because I
Yeah.
think that's where my foundation of saving money comes from.
Yeah.
Not to say I'm the best at it, but
You're better at it than me. You have a better understanding of it out of
well,
me.
I mean, it just comes with the age and the
Yeah.
experience. But it's like when I was in college, my parents gave me 200 a month to really like, okay, well, figure this out between gas
Yeah.
and food, right?
Yeah.
And
Did
as
you have
for
a dining hall plan?
no, I mean in Riverside we did, but the thing is, it's like
It's ass.
no, Riverside was fine,
Oh, okay.
but
UCSD's
um,
ass. You got tired of it real quick.
this is more like for Point Loma.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Because I was a commuter student, I
Shit.
didn't get on a plan.
Yeah,
Like
of course.
I didn't get on a plan. Um, but like, but what? Like, I had to basically live off my. And this went on for 4 or 5 years. I had to live off of 200 every month between gas and food.
Fuck, dude, that's insane.
It is.
Oh
I,
my god.
you would sometimes I catch myself like scraping by my last $20 before my next like allowance comes in, and I'm just
Fuck, that's
like,
actually that's terrifying.
I have to think. Okay, I spent $10 for gas here, and then I spent $10 for food, and then I get in 2 days later I get the like my next allowance. And I really was living quote unquote paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
In terms of
Paycheck through
allowance.
parents.
Paycheck from parents. Yeah, exactly. Paycheck to paycheck from parents.
Oh god. Yeah,
So
sometimes
yeah,
the only time I got an allowance is when my parents would be like on a vacation, but my parents barely have a vacation for themselves. It's actually until recently that my mom started being like, okay, what's an allowance for this? Because she went to Canada and stuff.
yeah,
And then she gave us an allowance when we went to the cruise, which we didn't even touch, but and all that stuff. And like, in the back of my head, it's like I wish she had done this sooner, even if it was like $20. I
yeah,
wish she had done it sooner, just so I could figure out like, hey, learning to remind myself that like this is how much I have left. Like I need to be careful with this and all that stuff.
yeah.
And I think it's also because my parents have a lot of trust in me to know better. Because again, um, I was like the golden child in my family. I was the youngest,
Ditto
and
that.
yeah,
Same with me.
I was the youngest, and then obviously like I was very musicious and I sang and all that stuff, and they loved me, and so they basically like babied me around. I was
Mhm.
very protective in my life. I was like, yeah, huddled around the freaking bird's nest, and I feel like I still am. And so they were willing to really give me anything I kind of asked for. And I'll say I take advantage of it a lot of times, but at least I'm not shoving it in people's faces. Like, I'm happy that I do that. And there's even a lot of points where I let my brother,
Yeah.
I ask something, but it's actually for my brother, all
Mhm.
that stuff. But it's like, I wish I wasn't so babied around once I hit like junior year of high school,
Yeah.
just so I could understand the real life.
Yeah, because that comes with the time management and finance management, right?
Yeah.
Figuring out how well you are with time, with money. Like, I think from my perspective as the adult, as the firstborn
Yeah.
in my family, also bringing up the fact that I'm a guy, like I'm the big brother.
Yeah.
I'm the guy. My parents expected like, oh, you need to get your shit together.
Yeah.
Like the lens of the lens the golden child lens basically was also on me,
Yeah.
and I was expected to carry basically everything, and that's I guess that's why like I do have some considerable time time management skills and finance management,
Hmm.
but it's really not the best. Like, I'm gonna tell you, you heard it earlier like last hour ago, like
Yeah.
I went on to to like go party, even though like I
Yeah.
had a what's it called, an exam or a an assignment
Even if you
due.
felt like you had everything to lose too in that certain situation,
Yeah,
we reacted completely different because you both of the times in college, this you had everything to lose gaining this education,
yeah,
and you went over there and partied, and I had everything to lose in this situation, and I tried working my ass off and just burnt myself out, you know,
yeah. I guess that's
both
what.
in our first years.
Which brings us, I guess, back to our original question, like the icebreaker question that we had. It's like, what draws the line with you studying and partying as
Yeah.
a college student, right? I guess it's whatever works. But like, I as we try to wrap this up, I guess, because it's been an
Yeah.
hour. God damn, that's good.
It's a good amount. Yeah.
It's a good amount, but it's the whole, like, is it really worth it to 100% burn yourself out when you know you needed a break?
Yeah.
It's like, don't. I'm not saying go to the extent that I did, which
Yeah.
is oh my gosh, which was like going
Crazy.
crazy with parties and shit every
Yeah.
week and drinking alcohol and
Hmm.
all of that. But it's like when you hit a wall with your education, like like your education plans that day, right?
And your
And your
motivations.
motivation is down. You're not gonna be able to pull any more. Like if there's nothing left in the tank, where are you gonna go from? Where are you gonna go to?
Yeah.
Nothing, nowhere. So that's, I guess, also that's another thing they won't tell you, like in college and adulthood, basically.
Yeah.
No one's will tell you when to take a break.
Yeah.
Really, no one will tell you when to take a break because like they'll just keep throwing shit at you.
For sure.
College, work, like they'll just be like, hey, do this, do that, do this, do that.
And your
I
social life.
Exactly. Your social life takes a big hit. Your mental, internal health basically
Yeah.
takes a big hit.
Keeping up with friendships, keeping up with relationships.
Exactly. You're expected to be somebody that everyone's trying to make you do. I think the most important thing as you go through college, as you go through life and adulthood, really,
Yeah.
is really staying true to yourself and what you need, because like a lot of us do forget, like, it's life, but this is our life
Yeah.
individually. Like, this is what myself deals with
Yeah.
on a day-to-day basis. So I need to learn how to take the reins on it and say
Yeah.
no when I need to. That's,
Hmm. And
again,
also, as a person, as a friend, seeing that in another friend, you need to learn of when to respect a person when a person does that.
correct.
It's like, man, everyone experiences college in so many different ways, and especially if you're friends with someone that is like a pushover like that, you need to understand that they also have consequences for what they do, as
Yeah,
maybe you don't have it as drastic as them, but sometimes there's some people that have everything to lose, and there's some people that have nothing to lose when you're in college. Some
yeah,
people have that safety net and some people don't.
yeah. I essentially had no safety net, but like all I just remembered as I went through my college experience was like, okay, as long as I get this done, I'll be somewhat okay. You
Yeah.
know, like the goal for me now is just to to graduate and figure it out as I go, because I don't have a set plan. I didn't have a set
Yeah.
plan, and even if I already resigned myself that, like, even if I have a set plan, not everything is gonna be followed. Plans like fall through
Oh
and
yeah.
don't necessarily follow, right?
Yeah.
But I and I'm glad I learned that at an early age, because it gave me the perspective of it's not that deep.
Yeah.
I just need to learn how to roll with the punches, because that's how life throws it at you.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Whatever it is, man, the fact that some people just still power through those types of uphill battles and those hurdles,
yeah.
I just hope people don't lose themselves.
Oh, 100%. Yeah,
Because I feel like at one point you lost yourself.
I
Yeah.
I did. I really did. I got lost. I lost myself through all of my, substance use. Like I drank myself to, basically borderline death every single weekend. I was just droning on.
Surprised you didn't get alcohol poisoning.
I'm surprised too. I guess I just yacked it all up and it just didn't have lasting effects.
Yeah.
Thank God. But
Yeah.
again, that's where I come from.
Yeah.
My
And
like,
academically losing yourself too. There was a point.
oh yeah,
Yeah, there was a point where I was just like, damn, why sometimes I use this thing, I forgot the proper term, but it's like academic guilt that motivates you to keep studying and
yeah, yeah,
stuff. There was this one part where like I couldn't bring that to guilt myself into studying, and I tried every other motivation, and I was just like, in that moment I was just like, dude, I think I lost myself in my
yeah, yeah.
academics. And so yeah, I mean, losing yourself socially and losing yourself academically, it's like a rite of passage. That's not gonna lie. So yeah, I mean, college is college. Be passionate in what you are, what you want to be.
Yeah. It
It's
like
never a straight line.
yeah. When they say the world is your oyster as you go to college, the world is literally what you make it out to be.
Yeah,
It's just keep in mind when people say that you got to take it with a grain of salt. It has its ups and downs, but that gives you the greatest sense of freedom as well.
yeah.
And
Some people will.
yeah.
Some people will take into a power trip, and then some people who. Wait.
Oh, you cut out.
Some people will take it into a power
Yeah, yeah.
trip, and then there's gonna be some people who are gonna be paranoid about it and really like burn themselves up with academics. But at the end of the day, I don't know. It's it's what you choose.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess if whoever listens this, let us know if you guys want a part two of the whole college series. Basically, we have so much we can talk about.
Thoughts, comments, and concerns.
Like, look, I know we went on tangents, but
We're gonna cut
God,
it down.
yeah, we will cut it down. It's our first one, so I mean, thank you guys for being patient with us. I hope this gives you guys an insight on what in the intersectionalities of college students and post college students I go through and think about, and it hopefully gives you guys a perspective on, and on basically going with your own college life, and hopefully this helps somebody. So yeah, thanks guys.